They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to Anna with Plants. My name is Anastasia. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. We have a collection walkthrough, plant update, very casual, non-scripted. I promise I have no script for this video, so it'll be chill and relax, or maybe all over the place. I really don't know. A lot of really exciting spring updates. It's coming up to 6 months of me trying a new substrate. I have some Hoya blooms, one really exciting one that I haven't talked about yet. There was 2 periods of neglect in my collection during the spring. One that happened just recently. I watered my collection like a little bit late, but overall just really excited to show you what's going on, the good and the bad, of course. The only area that we are not going to venture into is my garage Hoya, just because I plan on doing a part 2 to my Hoya collection where I will be purging some, and a lot of those are in the garage that are on the purge list, so I kind of don't want to talk about them again and again. Other than that, we will just kind of walk around and chat about my collection. And I don't have very much else to say, so let's just get into it. Okay, now I'm on the ground and I'm in front of the 2 shelves that are under the TV. So this is where I keep my Hoya prop box, and then I have some books here. Oh, and by the way, somebody, and I can't remember who, told me to read this book. So thank you to whoever suggested this. I really loved this book a lot. And then there's another shelf behind us here. So I am gonna just open up the Hoya cabinet right now. I will say that my Mathilde has been growing incredibly well in here. Look at how long the vine is now. It's so pretty. All of it is still variegated, which I love to see that. And look at these big ol' fuzzy aerial roots. It has now 2 strands that it's working on. That's really exciting. I think I can actually like loop it around more. My silver serpents also started to sprout a lot of growth points and new tendrils. The leaves are a little bit too small at the moment to see how the splash is coming through. We'll just have to wait on that. And then it also has the teeny tiny peduncle right there, and then there's another one right here. They haven't done anything, but just good to know that maybe it's maturing a little bit. It's still a very small thing. This is my Wilburgrave silver. It's finally started to grow. This is one of the newest leaves that it has. This is one of the updates that I'm not jazzed to show. This is my Madeira green edge, and this is what the original cutting looked like. And I had a feeling that it was starting to revert because this was the first leaf I grew in my care, and then this is the second. And then as you can see, there's like no variegation in this strand. So now I feel like I should cut it back because, I mean, I didn't want a green carnosa, which is essentially what type of plant this is. I don't know, this is the game that you play and sometimes lose when it comes to variegated plants. And then last one in here that I want to show you guys is the Nabalwensis variegated. This one's really pretty. I just hope I can finally get it to trail, because it's just been kind of stuck in this clumpy phase. There's just so many new growth points that it keeps growing. They are really pretty. I love all of the new leaves. I just want it to get longer. This is a little bit of a sad update. This is one of the Hoya that did not appreciate being dried out for an extended period of time. This is my Hoya Bella intervariegated, and I don't know if y'all can tell, but it started to drop in yellow leaves. And I'm pretty sure it was just because it was way too dry for too long, and I'm starting to water it again, but it's continuing to drop leaves, which is kind of sad. It has started to bud up, so I'm not sure if it's doing like a death bloom or what. This is the state of this plant. And then down here, I just have a couple of prop boxes. I do want to share this update. So this is my Cartel Down Bigfoot. This has been a slow to grow kind of plant, but I do feel like the genetics are there. It just takes forever to pop a leaf. So this is one of the first leaves that I grew in my care, And then this is the leaf it kind of grew after. It was a little bit wonky, but this is the newest leaf. And again, the sizing up is not drastic, but if you can see the veins, it's kind of starting to look like what we know the Bigfoot to look like. I think I just have to be more patient with it because I don't think it needs to be upsized quite yet. It's hard to see because there's a lot of algae, but there are some roots growing at the bottom, but it's not a lot. So yeah, I've just been kind of patiently waiting with this plant. And then in this prop box, there isn't really too much to report, just small seedlings and the like. All right, and now we are upstairs in the bedroom. This is my smaller Hoya shelf here. This is where I have all of my Hoya props that are currently slowly rooting out. I'm pleased to say that the Hoya Lori Lynn has actually rooted because there were 2 plants in that pot, as you can see over here, so that's exciting. I definitely need to film me potting up these props. The tricolor Bruno, I know it looks so sad. Look at how sad that looks. But if you can see, and this is gonna be kind of hard to show, but it did start growing roots. So yeah, I don't know if this is like a real bloom or a stress bloom. I'm not quite sure, but it's like kind of hanging on. And then these are just some of the new Hoya that I have that I showed in my plant haul rooting back here. Going downward, these 3 were the ones that were previously rotted, and then I had to repot them. I will say that these 2 are pretty much rooted up and are doing better. One part of the variegated Bertonier, though, is still not rooted. You can see it's this one because the leaves are wrinkly, but if you see it, this side of it, they are better looking. This is the Lacunosa variegated, and it's actually finally starting to grow for me again, which is really exciting. And you can also see we have some roots, although not that many. So there's that shelf. So now we're in the plant room, and this is what I mean by I'm gonna show you guys how the actual state of it. Part of me wanted to kind of organize and clean this up a little bit, but this is just where my life has been at right now. There's just been a lot of things happening, and sometimes you can't take care of your plant collection, and this is one of the instances. It probably looks a lot different from the last time you saw it behind me. This is where I film. I moved a lot of the plants here to the alcove that you saw, so that's also why it's bare. That's probably the main reason. So this is the alocasia, which finally gave me this beautiful big leaf. This is basically the only alocasia I can grow. The Lacrinosa white pearl is just honestly taking off. Do you see how big this has gotten? Because it was just a couple of cuttings in a container, and now it's this bush. And also it's starting to bud up. I believe I did have this one bloom this summer, you know, just the standard Lacunosa blooms here. This is my linearis, basically on a shelf all by itself. It did have some buds, but they did blast. Again, this plant, I've noticed, does not take kindly to inconsistent watering. I think that is part of the reason why it's not super duper happy right now. We got a new leaf on the Dock Block Michelle that I got from Home Depot last November. It's really pretty. So good and bad news on my Hoya elliptica. Definitely got some pest things going on. You can see that this leaf is yellowing and it's gonna fall off. Check out all that scratching behind the leaf. Oh, see, yeah, that's a pest issue here. You can see it right at the tip of the leaf too. And it seems to be concentrated just on this strand, so that's where I've been spraying. And then I also kind of let it grow wild, so the tendril went under the shelf, and now the elliptica is growing back here. I am very excited to report that it's starting to bud up. Hopefully, if I continue to water this, we can see some of those cool teeth-shaped blooms. There's also one down here. And I checked these leaves and they don't have any of that damage on them. I think it's just mainly that strand. But yeah, exciting stuff and also not exciting stuff. Down here, this is my pink silver ghost. Finally is giving me some new leaves. That has been a long time in the making. Also, this is a cutting that I took of my Angleriana Vietnam, which was super beautiful and big, that I brought it out about a year ago. And it's also putting out these teeny tiny cute blooms. What is this? Vitarifolium? Is this a Vitarifolium? Yeah, I think so. This one was a little bit intentional just because I like my pally better and I just kind of let it go without water a little bit too long. Not intentionally, but also intentionally, if you feel me. So this is the Hoya bloom that was the most exciting for me. Yes, you heard that right. I finally got my Caudata to bloom and it's actually budding up again. I'll go ahead and insert photos of the bloom. They were fuzzy, they were cute, it was everything. That is it budding up. Also has a new leaf on the way. There's another cluster down here and I think I saw one up here too. That is so exciting to me. I got this as a 1-node, 1-leaf cutting about 2 to 2.5 years ago, and that's just kind of how long it took me to get this to bloom. Boy oh boy, am I excited about it. This is kind of like the corner of forgotten Hoya, if I'm being honest. I did get a pair of big new leaves on, what is this? The AH032. Look at how big these leaves are. Absolutely massive. And they are definitely still kind of floppy. The variegation isn't quite as pronounced. I did that in my last video too. So this is what kind of remains of this area after I took away the Monstera aurea that used to be here. I got 2 prop boxes on the ground, 1 up on that bench, and then just some plants around here. I'm really sorry the floor is dirty. This room needs a lot of TLC. I just have not I have not been in the mind space of prioritizing this room at all. We are still very much in the puppy mode, as you know. So this is my beautiful AH049. This is the newest leaf that it's been giving me. And yeah, just love this plant. I want it to fill up this trellis and just get big and beautiful. This is another very exciting bloom that just happened. I got this Hoya Multiflora Wonder Fill in July of last year, so it's been 10 months for me to get it to bloom. These are definitely on their way out, and a lot of them did fall off. The cluster was supposed to be a lot bigger, but again, inconsistent watering. They are so cool. I love the shooting star blooms of the Multiflora, and this is my first one, and I got it to bloom in under a year, so definitely a fast bloomer. And we got more buds happening at a peduncle above it, so that's really exciting. Let's talk about one of the saddest plants to do not great during the summer, and I think I kind of narrowed down what happened to it. This is my not real Delta Force. It's the cross of the Delta Force Pedato radiatum crossed with something. For some reason, I forgot the cross. Super sad news about this one. It's not like totally on the out and out, but as you can see, there's a lot of yellowing. And this is just a PSA. I had a case of gnats in the plant room that I kind of wanted to take care of, and so I decided to go the not lazy way, but it's kind of a lazy way. I used this. This is the insect guard. You literally just put it in the room and it deals with a lot of the gnats and also like the spiders and stuff. I will say it did take care of the gnats within a couple of weeks, but this is also what I noticed because I had it in the grow tent before, because there were also gnats in the grow tent. It will take care of your gnats 100%. Don't get me wrong, it does its job, but I think whatever chemicals it releases into the air, it makes your leaves, especially for anthurium leaves, start to yellow and die off. I will show you the plants in the grow tent that also had this happen to them, and I didn't change up anything in my care. It was literally just the plants that were closest to the gnat treatment, because I initially had this just against this wall here, and this proximity to it definitely took a beating on this plant. Funny enough, as soon as I moved it away, the yellowing stopped. It didn't get any worse. I can't say for certain, but I think that is probably the culprit to that. Anyway, let's get into these prop boxes. We got some exciting stuff in here. I want to talk about everything, but I literally can't. This video will be a million years long. Let's just go over a couple of the ones that I'm most excited about. One being this one right here. This is my Black Widow Michelle self. This is from Buds Plants. And this is the newest leaf that it's given me. I'm getting a little bit excited about it now. Compared to a normal crystal, I think it's looking a little bit interesting. So we'll see what that one does. I do have 2 of these, but the other one, which is back here, is a little bit slower. The next plant I want to show you is a Circus Peanuts cross. So this is Mag Verde cross with a Circus Peanuts cross with a Delta Dawn self. As you can see, there's a little bit of yellowing on the older leaves, and I think that's because some of the roots, the older roots, did rot. But we have some new roots growing down into the substrate, so that's why it's not totally declining, but it did yellow a little bit. And I really love that red kind of bleeding down the middle there. I think it's really pretty. And I just really like the texture on this plant. I think the texture-wise, it looks quite different from a lot of the anthurium that I have. Okay, and I think that's good for this prop box. What do we want to talk about here? Oh, so this is one that I totally forgot to include. This is a fairly new purchase for me. I think I've had this plant for about a month now. This is the Stripey cross from Understory Oasis. Let me just grab it. So it's his Stripey X1 cross with his Stripey X2. And Stripey is basically a Tim Anderson plant, and it's kind of known for the veins. There's no secondary veins, which is quite an appealing characteristic for anthurium. But anyway, I got it with 3 leaves. This is the first leaf it's grown in my care, and it's on to its next leaf here. So have it rooting in moss currently, and it's doing pretty good. But yeah, the size jumps are like they're there, but they're not huge or anything. But I am glad to have this plant because I know he didn't release a lot of them, and I just happened to get it during a fluke. Like, I happened to see the email of the restock while I was on break for lunch at work, and I happened to grab it. This is one of my BVEPs. This is, let me see which one it is. I always forget which cross this is. This is the RF F2. It's definitely more of like a classic shape of a BVEP and everything, so that's good that it's doing well again. And then I'm just going to talk about this plant back here. Oh my god, do you see the roots on this plant? That is absolutely, that's almost embarrassing. Good embarrassing, but also like very disturbing at the same time. This is the FTG Self cross with a Dorito port. Oh my god, I cannot get over the roots. So yeah, it is supposed to have a flat sinus. Well, not supposed to. Ideally, it would have a flat sinus since both of the parents have flat sinuses. I'd say it is taking after the characteristics of the FTG. You can really see it in the veination, and I really love that tiny bit of pink in the sinus. The newest leaf, which is this one, is a little bit smaller. I think this one was coming out sometime around the repot, so that might be it. It's not growing out of cataphyll quite yet. It is more on the flat side, so we'll just have to see as it matures. But yeah, I definitely need to repot it because what the heck. Okay, let's go on to my biggest prop box. Honestly, so many of these need to be moved into the grow tent. I gotta move out the big plants in the grow tent to make room for these. Really exciting to note that my Hue King of Spades has come back. It was literally a stump, and it finally grew a new growth point and gave me a quite sizable new leaf, which is very exciting. What else do I want to show you? Ooh, this is the Carla from Granthariums. I think this is the round self. And let's see, this was probably the leaf that you saw it in. When did I show this plant last? My winter faves, I believe. So this leaf was emerging, and this leaf has since grown, and it's been quite a good size jump. This one is still expanding some. I also potted it and everything, and it's just looking really good. Has some new roots growing at the side here, and it's becoming one of my, not my top Carla, but probably top 3, I'd say. The number one catastrophe of these last couple of weeks of me just having the puppy and ignoring my plant collection was this prop box actually got to be quite dry. I wouldn't say it was bone dry, but it was definitely on the dry side. And this plant here definitely did not like that. This is the round Felix crossed with the dark star. This is the BVEP that I had that I love, and this is one of the leaves that is probably gonna go, to be honest. It had more leaves on it, and also the caterpillar, that growth point totally rotted off and everything. So yeah, it really didn't like being dry and dropped a bunch of its leaves. So that is a very sad update. I think that's probably the saddest update that I have for spring, is just that plant not doing well. But hopefully it'll grow another growth point and it'll be okay. I guess while I'm here, I'll show you this one since it's standing out from the rest. This is my favorite Carla. This is the NSC Carla. It is a cross between 2 unnumbered Carlas. I guess she got them before they began to get numbered, and so she doesn't really know which ones they are, but it is a hybrid between those 2. Let me show you. This was probably the last time you might have seen this. This was an emergent leaf. It was like super bright red, and it hardened off to quite a dark color. I wouldn't say it's black, but it's very dark. And then this leaf is still expanding. I just love this plant so much. It's a very classic Carla shape, and veins, those red emergents just really get me. All right, we are in the grow tent, and if I do say so myself, this is the area that I am most excited to show you for updates, because y'all, there's a lot of good stuff going on in here, and I am very proud at how far some of these plants have come. Essentially, I totally forgot to water the grow tent, and I think the tent went 2 to 2.5 weeks without any water, and I just really didn't notice it until it was too late. I will show you the brown crisping off leaves and everything, but I feel like the majority of the plants have made a recovery since then. Thank the Lord, praise be, whatever you believe in. Let me also just turn off the fan. Unfortunately, you are gonna hear another fan potentially, which is Cody's computer. This grow tent is right next to his PC. Sorry, there is nothing I can do about that. It's kind of a warm day. So let's start off with this grid wall. I had to order more zip ties because I didn't know where they went, and so that's why the wall is unfinished. Let's start off with something that is jumping out at me, which is, look at this curly inflow. This is obviously my NSC Wendley. This is the newest leaf it's given me, starting to get more and more rippled. Love to see that. But this is the first inflow it's given me that's actually started to curl. And one thing that I didn't know is it actually doesn't come out curly. It actually comes out pretty straight, and then it starts to corkscrew and spiral. So I don't know, I just think that this is the coolest inflow ever. I love it so much. And then the next update I want to give you is my Argentia Princess finally sprouted leaves, and lo and behold, it's going to be a Nova Ghost. I had a feeling it might revert because these are just known for reverting, but you can kind of see, like, you see how you can tell on the back of the leaf here, there is no variegation, so it's fine because I lost my Nova Ghost. I actually don't mind growing another one, so even though it's kind of a fail, it's not really a fail for me because now I have a Nova Ghost. So this is the side of the grow tent, and one thing off the bat is, of course, the big beautiful Billy is right here. This is the newest leaf. Let me show you now that it's more expanded because I think you just saw it furled up. Look at the variegation, my friends. It's the perfect leaf in terms of the variegation. First of all, I love the pink. Do you see that hot pink margin around the leaf? It's not going to stay forever, but I think that's just like an added cute touch. And of course, the variegation is stunning. Really have to repot that one because it's still in moss. This is just a quick update on my caramel marble, pushing a new leaf. And as you can see, the edges look even more wavy than this one. So excited to see what the variegation will be. I recently, just a day ago, potted this because it was going too dry. This, look at how cute this leaf shape is. I cannot get over how round and tubby this is. So this is my Cartel Down Goliath, and I cannot get over how cute it is. So this is the last leaf that it's given me. And then look at this one. So the lobes are really cute, short, and they're overlapping. But look at like the bottom heaviness, just the perfect round tubbiness of this leaf. I love it so much. It's giving me, what is that Queen song that I'm thinking about? The girls with the big butts. Yeah, that's exactly what I think of when I look at this leaf. That's just where my mind goes to. Okay, let's move downwards. Again, I want to talk about all of the plants in here, but this would be way too long of a video. So I want to show you back here. This is my Ganun, right? And it's growing fantastically, but this is something that I just noticed couple days ago. Look, it's budding up. I totally don't even know what the flowers look like. Would that not be so fun to see this one bloom this year? So keeping fingers crossed for that one. Let's give an update on my Hoya Hushkeliana intervariegated. I got good news and bad news. So the bad news, as you can probably see, is this side. So there are two plants in here. This plant is not rooted. It is yellowing, and I don't know if it's going to make it. However, on this side, this plant did root out, and it's actually growing new leaves. You can see those hot pink leaves coming through, and it is also blooming, or at least budding up. And I have had this plant bloom for me. They're really cute bell-shaped blooms. Really nothing to write home about, but they are cute. I had this one rooting in a prop box in like that tree fern mix that I did with Pawn, and it really wasn't rooting at all. I had it in there for about a month, and it was just continuing to do this, you know, be yellow and fall off. And so I decided to use the moss mix that I've been using, and I'll kind of talk more about that at the end of the video.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Hold on, BRB. So tragedy has struck. There is no other way to put it. I had to do an emergency repot on this entire plant. I was gonna show you like the great roots and everything, because I did notice that these Hoya roots that grew in the new substrate I've been using were more thick than regular Hoya roots, and I thought that was really interesting, and I wanted to show it to you guys. Yeah, that's not gonna happen because, you know, I repotted it and now you can't really see the roots anymore because they're not at the size of the pot, but you'll just have to take my word for it. That was so sad. And what's even more tragic is it fell on this plant, which is the red spider, and this plant has not been doing well, and I was excited to see this new leaf come out and unfurl, but do you think that's gonna happen now? No, it is not, because look at that. I want to cry. That was tragic, and now I'm just gonna have to move on and not think about that anymore. Let's go to the bottom of this shelf. I want to go in with a thing that's very exciting after that tragedy. This is my Hoya Wilbur Graves Silver, like the really nice one that has a ton of splash, super silver. Look at this bloom. What is this? I think this is like a watering, like a self-wicking cord. Yeah. I don't know where this came from. Okay, anyway, look at this bloom. It has not quite popped yet, but you can see it is so, so close. Literally any day now, they're gonna start to open, and I am so excited. This is the first time this plant has bloomed for me. I've had it for under a year. Also, FTG is looking real good in the new mix, if I do say so myself. Also, quick update, this is my variegated gloriosum, and look at how well rooted it is in here. These roots are taking over the pot. A common theme you'll see is it is time for me to repot a lot of these plants. So I want to show you the first leaf I grew in my care. Yeah. Are you as disappointed as I am in that? Yes, there is one block, but it's mostly green, and I'm like, how dare How dare you do this to me after these lovely leaves that you gave? But this is the new one. It's still forming. It's kind of got like a Polaroid quality to it almost. I don't really know what the final look is going to be quite yet, but you can just kind of see it's definitely a lot more variegated, which is nice. Definite need of a repot. Since we're on the ground here, might as well just continue with the Hoya on the bottom. Sigillatus is finally growing some new leaves. That's very exciting. It's been a long time. I am just going to briefly show you guys. I'm not going to go into too much detail about these Hoya because, again, a lot of them were on the chopping block from my Hoya video, so I don't want to talk about them here and then again, but just know that a lot of growth has been happening. We're going one up. Let's just talk about this big beauty right in front of me. This is a Tazula red crystal, and she's very well rooted in here. This is one of the plants that I was super sad about because I had this beautiful emergent and then I forgot to water on time, and look at how crisped that leaf became. It was so sad. So I just kind of keep it tucked over here. But it did give me a new leaf, and this leaf is just so fantastic. I love the bleedy veins that it gets. I'm just in love with this plant. This is one that I will have to move out of here soon because it is taking up a lot of real estate. Moving on, my Miss Universe is giving me a new leaf, so excited to see what that will do. Let's see, this is the plant that took the beating the most when it comes to that Pro Zap treatment that I put in here. All of the leaves started to yellow and they kind of just fell off, and this is what I'm left with. It stopped after I removed that gadget. I don't know what to call it. I just think if you want to use it, don't leave it too long in here because it starts to yellow some of the leaves and it's not a good look. This is my beautiful Queen of Hearts. When I originally got it, I said I wanted to breed with this plant, which is again a very very bold, naive move of me because this plant is very difficult to breed with, and now I'm starting to realize that I don't think this plant produces pollen because it's had like 3 inflows now, and it definitely goes through female stage, but it doesn't go through the male stage, and I never get pollen off of the inflows before they die off. And when I did research on this and I looked back to all of the crosses that were out there, the Queen of Hearts was always the mother plant. So is this just like a common knowledge thing that I didn't clue into, that the Queen of Hearts doesn't produce pollen, or is it just my specific plant? I would be interested to know if you guys know that, but now I'm starting to figure that out. I am realizing that if I want to breed with this plant, that I will have to use it as a mother, which I'm coming around to being more okay with just because of how well it adjusted to the repot and the substrate that I gave it. So I'm just going to take these plants away. Look at all of these roots. It's very happy in here, very well rooted. It's popping a new leaf. There's another inflow that's going to happen soon. This is one of the newest leaves. This is an emergent leaf. This is one of the older leaves back here. So it's doing really well. It yellowed off a bunch of leaves like it always does when you try to repot it into something new, but it bounced back in the substrate. Another win to my new substrate that I'm trying out. I am literally sweating. It is so hot in here. Whew, okay, we're almost done. So let's go to the next section. I'm going to talk about this big, beautiful boy. This is the Michelle, the Home Depot Michelle. And look at how giant this leaf is. It's so pretty. It definitely looks different than the other Home Depot Michelle that I had. They came together in the same pot. But this one is a little bit more gray toned and not quite as pink and dark as the other one is. Definitely going to take it out soon though. What else? I moved my Dressleri into the grow tent, and it's been adjusting well. It's just been rooting out, and it's slowly starting to emerge a leaf. Ooh, my red vein dark phoenix. I'm gonna have to move these plants out of the way. I feel like I said I wasn't gonna talk about every plant, but here we are. This plant had the hardest time rooting out for me, and finally transitioned it into the new mix. It has given me 2 leaves. This is the first leaf, kind of got attacked by spider mites a little bit, was very sad about that. And then this is the second one. Just look how gorgeous that color is. It's so deep. And again, it's got that red vein. For comparison, this is a color that the plant came with. And again, yes, it is a bit bleached and old and battered, so it is a little bit deeper than this. I do agree. But after giving it much darker lighting conditions, it's all the way in the back here, and it does just fine in really low light. So I think it's a combination between low light and just high feed. It's doing fantastically well. Like, I'm so glad that I have this plant. It is gorgeous. It gave me my first inflow, and it is starting to go into the pollen phase. So I will definitely be collecting the pollen off of this. I just stare at this plant sometimes. Let's just show you the roots. It is in dire, dire need of a repot too. Look, the roots are circling. They're everywhere. This plant loves this substrate so much, and I can't be happier. Honestly, think that is like one of the game changers this year for me, is trying out moss and just seeing how good moss can be as a component in a medium. Now, top shelf before I combust into flames. Oh, I want to talk about every single plant up here. I can't. Let's just go over highlights. This plant was a casualty of me not watering the grow tent. As you can see, the crispiness. This is the Carla crossed with a dark phoenix. I grew this baby from a little one leaf seedling. It has since sprouted another growth point. So this is the second growth point. I just really love how clean this plant is. That's really the best adjective for me to describe it. Obviously, you can see the Carla in it with the venation, but the lines are so thin and just precise. I don't know. I really love this plant. My NSC red crystal finally had a comeback. Let me show you. This is the new leaf it has up top here. Has some new roots growing, and then it also has another offset. This is the Dream Weaver cross that I showed in my recent video, and it's given me a new leaf, and look at how bright and colorful that emergent is. Love that so much. Okay, last plant we're gonna talk about. This is the Tazula dark form, and sadly it rotted. I was so sad when I found that out, because like I said, this plant was finally turning around and giving me good leaves, and then I found out that it rotted. So I actually took it all the way back to moss. Look how bonkers the roots are. It is all around the pot. I am not joking how well rooted this plant is. It's all down the sides. So definitely need to repot it, but just happy to see that it's made a comeback. It gave me this new leaf in moss, very dark, very beautiful. And overall, just so happy and grateful to have this grow tent. I don't think some of these plants would be doing quite as well right now had it not been for buying a grow tent. Really great purchase this year. Okay, everybody, so that concludes this spring updates / collection walkthrough. Sorry if you hear any puppy sounds. I thought we would have a chat at the end of the video just about how spring has been going and plans for summer, all of that, etc., etc. In terms of Hoya, spring has been amazing because I've seen some that I haven't bloomed before bloom, which has been so exciting for me. In terms of anthurium, I think spring was really the season where I saw the mix. And by the way, if you kind of want to go to the video where I talked all about it, I will have it linked up above. This season was the one where I really understood that this is going to be like a long-term thing for me. So I think come June, I want to do something more tailored towards that and just kind of talk about it, see where like I source the ingredients and the ratios, you know, just kind of go more in detail about it, because it's just been a game changer for me in terms of anthurium. And if you are an inconsistent waterer like I am, I think that is one to maybe try out, because I've tried it out on a few genera now. It's done fantastically in all of them. Really has made a huge difference for me. Again, some periods of neglect because I'm not a perfect grower. My plans coming for the summer is hopefully I will get another plant decor project under my belt, which is the floating shelf one. Hoping it'll be end of June, beginning of July-ish. I see a lot of repots in the future. I just ordered a bunch of large clear pots and more supplies for my substrate because I've been low on that recently. Really quick pup update. Luca and Simba have been getting They've been getting along well. It's just been so cute seeing them together. Potty training has been slow but steady progress. There are still accidents here and there, but we will go days without one, counting our blessings that it will continue to go that way. He's just such a big boy now. Simba, when we took him to the first vet appointment, was 14 pounds, and we just took him to his next one 2 weeks later, and within 2 weeks, he's gained almost 8 pounds. He's almost 22 pounds now, so that is really wild to see how much weight he's gained, but also very exciting because he is a big growing boy. Honestly, we can't believe like how tiny he was when we got him and how he is right now. It's been really exciting, but also sad in a way seeing him grow up. This will probably be the last upload in May. I didn't have the time to do like a chatty repot talking about May being mental health month. That's really near and dear to my heart because if you don't know, I work in a mental hospital. When I took that job about 2 years ago, almost 3 now, that is kind of where I started my journey with taking care of myself and mental health, getting a psychiatrist, getting on the right medication. In full transparency, when I finally got on an antidepressant, it was this huge epiphany where I realized like, oh my God, this is how people feel day to day. It was just so wild to think how poorly I felt every day and how I was just pushing myself so much, and I didn't need to do that. So that was totally life-changing for me. I highly suggest if you are feeling that way that maybe you talk to a mental health professional in your area and just seeing if you can get some help, because sometimes we all need a little help, either that be temporary or permanent. We gotta reach out. And so I hope you've been taking care of yourself and that you have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video.